Aloha mai kaku, everyone. Tonight we have an amazing lineup of guests and panelists for all of you guys to enjoy. The topic we are covering tonight is diversity in entertainment. Before we get started with just a quick introduction, my name is Moana, the founder and host of the podcast, children's author for the Adventures of Nokua and Nohea children's book series, editor for the Wild Card Chronicles comic book series, and champion for the Indigenous and Native communities. Tonight, I'm joined as always by my wonderful co host, Dana.
Hello, everyone. I am a cosplay event and staff con photographer. You've seen us my photography with Dragon Con, MomoCon, and May Week in Atlanta, and with DC Comics. I'm also an event planner and a voice actor, and a whole lot more. And we thank you all for joining us.
Tonight's topic is diversity in entertainment. We often talk about diversity for diversity's sake when it comes to mainstream entertainment. And while it's important to have characters and roles that reflect our community, it is just as important to have diverse and authentic perspectives from creators who center the storytelling on the BIPOC experience. So tonight we are honored to host this wonderful panel with a group of creators who are bravely breaking barriers and pioneering new spaces and opportunities for our stories to be told in film, comics, television, maker spaces, and so much more. We are joined by our guest moderator, Jabaar Lasley-King, and our panelists, Shorten, Nuri McAdams, Kuya P, Mog Park, Micah Khan, and Viet Huynh. Hello there, everyone.
Hey, how you doing?
London.
Goodness. I listened to y'all intros. I was like, I'm not doing enough with my life. I need to do more.
No, you guys are doing it all, and we are so grateful to have you with us tonight.
All right. Thank you guys. Hello, everybody. I am Jabaar Lasley or Bar Fox. For those that know me from the cosplay world, I am a television and film producer. I have a lot of shows on that I produced and that I worked on. And I also did my own documentary for cosplay, which is called Cosplay Your Way in Color. So I've been busy working on everything from Jane Rita to back in the day, I did Ricky Smiley for Real and some other stuff. But I cannot wait to talk to you all and listen to your stories. So let's start with introducing everyone and figuring out what you do and how you contribute to the industry. So I would like to start with Mog.
Okay. I'm Mog. I'm an illustrator and I work in many different fields like publishing company, commercials, you name it, game company. That's it.
Thank you, Mog. And then next is VF.
Oh, hey everybody. My name is Viet Huynh. I haven't done comedy in over a year, doing stand up because of COVID and everything. But yeah, normally I make custom action figures and I make custom toys and I stream that on Twitch. And I do a lot of stuff for indie comic creators. I make Funko Pops, so their own creations where they put on as Kickstarter rewards. And then I also do a podcast about Avengers and X-Men called the Earth's Mightiest Podcast.
All right, Kuyaki.
Hey, yo, Kuya P, aka Patrick Michael Strange. Man, I do everything, a lot of everything, because I just have so much in me to just give. So I'm honored to be here with all of y'all. Started off as an actor way back in the day. I'm an old head. In Ace Ventura, When Nature Calls, I was a monk. And so being a monk then got me the acting bug in that to then just everywhere from there. Got into comic art. Later on, started writing and publishing comics. Through that, some of the properties that I created got picked up. So then I jumped back into the film world and have been doing a lot of everything on both sides. Started a charity because I met so many cosplayers called Cos Love, because I believe in our representation, and which is why I'm here on this panel today. I joined up with the Nerds of Color, who I love contributing with them and producing a lot of content there. And most recently, due to this pandemic, wanting to give back to my Filipino culture, started a new show called Show Pal Show, where I just rep Filipinx in all various fields of industry because we've been in the game a long time. So yeah, that's me. And I'm honored to be here amongst all y'all great talent tonight. And I look forward to chatting with y'all.
Awesome. Lee?
Hey everyone, I'm Lee Shorten. Mainly, I'm an actor. You might know me from The Simpsons, but you might know me from Man in the High Castle or The Terror in Me. And I write a little and direct a little as well. And yeah, like just want to echo everyone's sentiments. Super stoked to be here and can't wait to chat with y'all.
Sounds good. And Nuri.
How you doing? I'm Nuri McAdams, owner of Burning Spear Comics, creator and author of the Wildcard Chronicles comic book series, Motorcycle Club president, arms dealer by night, mechanic by day.
Okay, that's a lot going on. And Micah, introduce yourself.
I'm Micah. I'm a filmmaker based in New York. I direct no budget short films, write features, and doing the damn thing. Right now, I'm collaborating with Movie Maker Magazine and interviewing directors and anyone in the film industry on the craft of movie making. So that's what I'm doing right now.
Okay, so we have everything covered almost on this panel, so I'm so excited about that. So what I want to ask first, for anyone that would jump in, we didn't see a lot of ourselves in entertainment. We didn't see a lot of ourselves at the forefront, or we didn't get a lot of FaceTime. So what motivated any of you and all of you to get into the industry where you didn't necessarily see a reflection of yourself, or did you see someone that motivated you and inspired you and you wanted to be like that person?
For me, that simple fact that we weren't being represented. As a young kid, I gravitated towards, as you can see behind me, Spider-Man. You know what I'm saying? He was a young cat, had great power, great responsibility, was just always just being picked on. And so I saw myself in that. And then from Spider-Man, that brought me to the Uncanny X-Men with John Byrne and Chris Claremont and the amazing diverse cast at the time that they were the creators on that book, where we had Colossus from Russia, we had Sunfire out of Japan, Storm out of Africa. That's where I'm like, okay, finally some diversity. But then because when I looked at the creators, seeing that they were white, I didn't have high hope that we would always get that representation because we weren't there behind the scenes. And so it was through that education and not seeing it happen. And then just to know that, you know what, I'm going to have to do it myself. You know what I'm saying? I've always been a self-starter. And so that motivation led me later on to just create the damn thing. They ain't going to give it to us. So we got to take it. We got to make it happen. And that's what led to a multitude of the various genres that I'm into, to just create that platform and to encourage people within that platform in case I don't do it. Each one teach one. It has always been like a thing with me. So yeah, they ain't gonna give it to you. You got to take it and make it happen. So that's it for me.
I like that. Anyone else have some thoughts on this topic or the question?
Spider-Man's a pretty good example of like where I started too. I loved the animated show, and cartoons were big for me growing up. Samurai Jack is my favorite TV show of all time. I even have Aku tattooed on my arm. I don't know if you guys are Samurai Jack fans at all. I was a little luckier just because I was really into Bollywood movies growing up too. So I had an idea of what it looked like to have someone like me on screen, and didn't realize that nobody liked Bollywood movies outside of America until I was much older. Yeah, it's weird, man. And like the only people we have are where I'm at is M. Night Shyamalan, really. And that's what I'm probably get compared to all the time.
That's a good comparison. You can do as well as he had. So when you broke into your prospective industries, did you feel you were met with opposition, or did you feel like the fact that they were bringing on some diversity, and were you one of the first and only ones of your culture there, or did you join a team of other people that were already there and it was already diverse when you got in there? Let's start with you, Viet, because a comedian, that's a lot. You have a lot going on. So how did you break through?
I'll be honest, I did get to use the race card a lot of times. Just I don't know, I just sort of to diversify the comedy lineup all the time. They're just like, oh, there's too many white people on this show, or there's too many black people on this comedy show, and I'll get booked on there just for the sake of that. But yeah, I guess when I first started in the early 2000s, and I was following a lot of the Asian media blogs, like Angry Asian Man, what was it? The you offend me, you offend my family, one of those, discretion, all those. And I lived in the Atlanta, lived in the South all my life. I was like, someone needed to hear about the Asian perspectives. And then so a lot of my material was like complaining about that kind of stuff. I'm not going to do my bits because that's weird. But they were like just like Hot Pocket commercials with just like some kung fu dude with a Fu Manchu and all that stuff. You're just like, really? Like, what are we doing? Right? We're just using Asian people for nothing, or just like the stereotype Asian for to hawk some pepperoni and cheese Hot Pocket. This does not make any sense.
So yeah, that happens a lot. We get brought in and you are excited because you are breaking through and hoping to represent for your culture and for your race. And then you get put in some typecast situations and scenarios, especially those of you, the comedian and Lee, I'm sure you can speak on this. So share some of your stories on when you audition, are you getting the leading roles or getting the audition for leading roles? If you're handsome, you should probably get in the front. But when you get on the set, when you go talk to the casting agents, what are you hearing back about you and your presence?
It's a little bit different now than it was when I started. And I only started about 6-7 years ago. So I can't even imagine what it was like for the Joel De La Fuentes and Carries, who even came before me. It was probably even worse, right? Or for Kuya. And it was funny, when I first started, it was very like, it was on the cusp of this change, but it was funny because you'd have an open ethnicity breakdown and open ethnicity, and you'd show up and there's like all white guys, one black guy, one Latino guy, and then like me. And it's, well, obviously you're going to cast a white guy. And so there was a lot of that. And I gotta say, casting directors tend to be pretty good. They tend to try to champion you, and it's more like at the production end where you tend to get shut down because so many times you'll get pinned for a role, and it's because the community is pretty small. It's like me and some white guy, and it's definitely not the white guy, and it does go. We're at a better place now, obviously, thanks to a lot of things like Crazy Rich Asians, Warrior, and a lot of these shows. But it's almost like now, to be honest, it's like in a better place, but a weird place because yeah, there's a lot more Asian male roles, for example, but now they're all like, he's sexy and has abs and is shirtless all the time. Like, okay, cool, but that's another box. And for Asian women, it's probably the same, if not worse. They're still really tokenized and fetishized and don't have lines. And it's so there's more of us, and we've moved up the rung, but now we're at like another plateau.
If it's still in the breakthrough a lot of the time, Nuri, you get to see a lot. You're looking at all these genres and medias, and what are your thoughts on one, what has happened recently to help elevate people of color and open the door for them, in your opinion? And then two, what are some of the things that you think we should still fight for or we should still rally for? What does the industry still need to hear so we can keep progressing, so we don't get stuck in the new box? It's nice that, like Lee said, you're getting the roles, but now you're in another box. You have to move this way. So I know that was a long question, so hopefully you got some of it.
Yeah, I try my best to answer. Well, it seems with the situation with George Floyd and things with Asians, Blacks and Asians seem to be the flavor of the month now. We like to celebrate what I like to call false flag victories. Like, okay, so the guy got convicted. He's convicted. Now he wants a new trial because he feels the old trial was tainted. What we have to do, we can't sit back and expect them to do anything for us because they're not going to do anything for us. It's not in their benefit to do it. When you're already sitting on top of the mountain, you don't have to worry about helping anybody else. Power is exclusive, not inclusive. So just like Patrick said, you want it, you got to go take it from them. So I've always had that mentality. I see the things going on in the media, but it doesn't shake me. Even when COVID hit, I came out stronger through COVID and stronger now than I was before COVID. My businesses have thrived. I believe we can control our own destinies. We don't have to make Superman black. I know that's the thing they're trying to do now. We want to make Superman black. Why? let them have their Superman. Let them have that if that's what they want. Michael B. Jordan said it best because when they asked him that question recently, yeah, they got you pinned. You might be the black Superman. He's, well, that's great. And I thank people for thinking of me in that light. But there's so many IPs out here, indie IPs, that don't get any shine. What about them? When he said that, I was like, fine, somebody gets it. You know, I don't want you to give it to me. Let's make this black. Let's make this girl gay. It's like everybody's trying to check off a social justice warrior box when they create media. And I don't understand that. There have been strong, like for instance, I like when a story naturally flows to where I can enjoy the plot and things happen not like it's forced. I can't stand it. I tell you, I just watched something recently. And man, I was blown away because it's delivery, it's writing. People may not agree, but I just finished watching The Invincibles and I was like, whew. I was relaxed. I was like, this is good. The presentation, like I said, I don't want to give anything away, but it was really good without forcing it down our throat. I'll give you a good example of what I'm talking about. Women are strong. We've always known this. We've had characters. Sarah Connor was strong. She didn't have to be forcibly strong. The writing made her strong. Sigourney Weaver, strong, powerful. Wasn't forced. Xena, strong. See, these were strong women that weren't going out of their way to say to us, here we are, woman, hear me roar. You didn't have to. If you write it good, you write a really good story. I don't care what color they are. You write a good story, I'm gonna like it. You produce a good movie, I'm gonna like it. I don't care if it's all Asians in it. If it's good, I'm gonna like it. So I think everybody here is on the right track. You just keep on pushing forward. Nobody can stop. Your destiny's in your own hands. So I hope that answered your question.
It did, and you open up some doors to some other stuff that I wanted to talk about as well.
Right.
Oh, Micah,
If
you
I,
got
if I
something?
could, yeah. Nora brought a great point up with checking boxes and being put into boxes is the biggest problem that I've had with the industry is that I took a meeting with a producer over at HBO and I was pitching him a genre project and he stopped me and said, why don't you write something that's Muslim? And I can work with that. And that's not what I do. I agree. I just watched Sex Education on Netflix and it is a very diverse show, very full of LGBTQ characters, but it's never really brought up and it just makes it feel like a world. It's not, there's no hate crimes. And Schitt's Creek, right? Schitt's Creek exists in a world where that hate crimes don't exist, right? That's the kind of stuff that I like that, like, you can feel it when it's forced. And I think people get the sense, and it's only really catering towards white people, I'll be honest with you. Like, it's just how I feel. I feel like a lot of people of color, LGBTQ people can see right through it.
Well, that brings up another question that I had. Because of our race or our look or sexual orientation, do you feel like when you go into your respective fields that although you're happy to be there, that now you become the token person for that and they try to just, as you said, push certain things on you. You don't tell these type of stories. You're a storyteller, but because of your heritage, they want this from you or they want you to approach it that way. Have any of you guys experienced that? And if you did, tell me how you dealt with it, or did you just roll with it so you can get more momentum and tell yourself you're going to change it when you get higher on the grid? Anybody want to speak to that?
I'll add to that. I had a voiceover gig way back when I was doing my acting and got hired to be the voice. Actually, initially, I was hired to be the photo double in this piece for the Hispanic character. And then later on got booked to be the voice of the Asian character for the photo model that was that character. So came in to do the voiceover recording. And when I was doing it, I was just talking my natural voice. And then the director was like, can you speak more Asian? That messed me up. That messed me up. I'm like, what? But while I wanted to walk out of there, because I had already got the check and everything and all of that, and I was still young at the time, and I didn't feel I had power. So I tried to figure out what he wanted me to do. And I essentially drew from stereotypes, which ate at my soul and slowed down the pacing of my voice. But so I did the job, but swore I'll never work for them again. And that only just fueled my fire for later on with my own projects and just for future going forward. But yeah, so that was my case. I've been there, done that. I'm sure other actors experience. I know I had a combo with Lee once on a project. And if you're going to do something like that, because we are actors at the end of the day, instead of us being right there in the booth at that time, like you're right there, you have no choice. Give us some lead time in advance. Let us know what we're working with, and maybe we can prepare for that. So yeah, that was it for me. And that was a painful experience.
Yeah, it happens quite often, and I had to have a few talks with people because you're working behind the scenes in television and stuff. Certain shows come on, and people are like, "Why would you let that happen? Why would you let them put that in?" And I get it, but they have to understand we're in a room and we're trying to steer them away from that. We're trying to fight against that. Ultimately, so many people's hands get in the pot. It makes it to the viewers, and some of our stuff is not implemented. It's not that we're not behind the scenes rallying or fighting for stuff. It's just that we're there, but we're not heard or not implementing what we're saying sometimes. Yeah, I had a situation where I was doing something and a maybe 50-year-old white man came in to tell me what Black people are listening to when I was adding the music in. And so I was like, in all due respect, I don't think you have a better take on what we're listening to better than me. Literally just let the club become the word. So it's like, you roll it back. But I was able to say that and I was able to change it. But it's situations like that sometimes that come up, as you stated, at the spur of the moment that you don't get any time to prepare for. And now you have a choice. Do I get the check or I already found this contract? I need to go through it. But it eats me up sometimes. Has anybody else had a scenario where you either played into your race too much for someone or you just so awkward, you did it, but it ate you up. And you just, cool, you said you're not working with that person again. You don't have to say who it was, but did you have a situation like that, similar to that? I believe you got to have had an acting world. It's rough. I want everybody to know how hard acting is.
I think Viet had the mic. Oh, you were going to say something, right? Because,
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Or it was just really quick. When I was first starting, I was really nervous. And so I made up this character called like Timid Asian Guy. And so I would just start off like sounding like fresh off the boat and I would just do your mama jokes. Like, and I would just go 2 or 3 times, like, your mother is so fake, like that kind of thing. And then I would get some laughs out of it because it would just be uncomfortable and people would laugh at it and it would kill. And then I would break out of the character. I'd be like, is everybody doing good? Everybody having fun? And then I would go back into the character and it would kill. And it would just do really well. And it wasn't until somebody came up to me after the show, just like, hey man, like you were funny as hell, man. It's like, but those your mama jokes, those were the best thing. I was like, so the thing that I was making up that was like supposed to be the mockery of what I was doing ended up being what you liked the most. And then I was just like, no, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah, it gets like that. Lee, were you going to add or did you?
It happens a lot. It's like so many stories. And I will just say, though, it's not to be like moderate guy because I'm not really that guy either. But it is, especially with accents or whatever, it's definitely like a case by case because I've got a lot of friends who are very just like generally anti-accent, which the thing is, I love accents. And I think in some ways accents are truthful because a lot of our parents have accents and like accents are beautiful in a way. So I'm always like, honestly, if you want an accent, what is its role in the story? Because if it's about like you're playing a first generation immigrant and the accent isn't the butt of the joke, then sure, I'll do that accent and I'll that's appropriate. And in some ways, that's like honoring the generation that came before. But it's when it's, which unfortunately is like 95% of the time, when it's like the butt of the joke or whatever, then that's really uncool. And what do you do, right? It's tough. And you're in the room and there's all these producers and you need a job and you're a pal, but the one thing that I found was good that someone else told me, and apologies whoever that was because I forgot. You put it back on them, like things like, oh, okay, so what? Maybe saying that, oh, we want like a Chinese accent. You're like, oh, cool. What region would you like? And they can't say it, right? Or you're like, oh, you're just really dumb. I don't really. Sorry, could you just give me an example? If they're like, we want Asian flavor, oh, can you just give me an example? I don't really understand that. And it's not like they're going to be like, oh, yes, so we want you to talk like a genius. Like they'll never do that. And then you see the wheels in turning and you see the uncomfortableness. And then they're usually like, oh, well, maybe we don't. Maybe we don't. Then maybe we don't need that. And you're like, oh, cool. Okay, well, that's cool then. So that would be my kind of contribution to this book.
Nice. That's an actual good tool to use. I mean, I've implemented that sometimes as well. And it's wonderful to see how people not able to articulate their biases and or go as far as they would have gone. They want you to assume that you're going to do what they want you to do. But I love what you said. Put them on the spot. So, Mog, I am really interested in your career. I'm interested in what did it look like when you became an illustrator and you walked in the room with other illustrators? Who was there? Were you represented? Were you the first? Or were you the only woman? Tell me that experience and let us know what it was like for you.
Well, to give an example, since everyone's here, like somehow tied in with the commercial world, one of my major gigs I was thankfully working with was the HBO Game of Thrones. And luckily, thanks, Brian. Luckily, I actually only directly communicate the directors and the producers. I never really got to contact other artists. I know there's numerous artists out there, but I was more like I work remotely. And the funny thing is, I think because my name is so masculine, like Mog, it's like a very unusual name. So after like several years working for them, one day I got a call from one of my producers because there was a problem with the payroll. And when I answered, he was so shocked. Oh my God, I thought you were a dude the whole time. So other than that, it was fine. Unlike you guys who have to use your own face and body as a tool, art, the incredible thing about art is visual art. It's just an image. It's not about race or anything. It's about communication. It's about image. And all they ever care about is, are you telling the story through the image? Are you conveying the information correctly? And if you do that job correctly, whether you are like a female, male, or any kind of race, it doesn't matter. Like luckily in the industry that I worked in, there was I've never really felt, well, luckily I've never felt that. It was sometimes I was a bit scared. Oh, if they know that I'm a girl, or if they know I'm like a minority. But you know what? It was never like that. At the end of the day, nobody knows who you are. They don't even know what name is attached to the image. But if they like the image and it resonates with you, that's a job well done. That's how the industry in my side works. So
Okay. That's good because the work speaks for itself. It's rare for a lot of us that have to, like you said, be in person. And I love that you brought up the name because my name, I don't know about the rest of you guys, but sometimes when I send stuff in, my name is so different that they automatically assign races and heritage to me and different things. Sometimes that could push me out of contention, and it has from what I learned sometimes, but it's interesting all of the many ways we have to navigate the field to be in entertainment. So my question for all of you now is, what are you doing to push diversity separately, maybe alongside your skill set or your job or something differently? For example, I worked for Magic Johnson and I got the opportunity to come up with a series where I spotlighted people of color doing things that people didn't expect them to do, surfing, making chocolate, just to spotlight those things to show all the diversity. So I really enjoyed that because I wanted to spotlight something else other than sports. Although I love sports and all this stuff, I just wanted to let it be known that we can do other things and do it well. So I wanted to ask all of you, do you have a project that you're working on or something that you do on the side? I know you was talking about cause love. Shout out to that. I have cosplay your way. So I definitely am in sync with that. So let's just start with you, Kuya, since you already told us a little bit about it.
All right, definitely, man. And I've been a fan of Cosplay Your Way for a long time, brother. So I feel like I know you. So I'm looking forward to connecting with you once we can actually do conventions and shows. Would love to collaborate. So as I brought up earlier last year with the pandemic and everything, Show Pal Show was the first thing out the gate that I wanted to launch to rep for my Filipinx people, knowing how long we've been doing it in various fields of industry. I wanted to make that happen. And so far, it's been amazing with the Filipinx community coming together and supporting the show and promoting all of our people. But outside of that as well, my work with the Nerds of Color. So if I may, I would love to invite all of y'all that's on this chat right now. I'd love to interview all of you guys, spotlight you guys on the Nerds of Color, because that's what the Nerds of Color is all about. It's about that POC representation within pop culture. And that's what we've been doing for years. And would love to have you all on for a chat and promote everything that y'all are doing. So that's what I'm doing. We do it daily. You know what I'm saying? We don't stop. I just came off of interviews of the Army of the Dead right before this call, repping with that amazing film and that representation. So I'm always doing it. That stays on my mind 24/7 because I have a little girl that needs to be seen and feel seen. She's half Black, half Filipino. My wife's Black, I'm Filipino. And that's what's so important to me. It's for her to see that representation. And that's what I'm going to do daily. And that's my grind. So yeah, man. And love y'all.
So inspired. Okay. Yeah, I'll come on in anytime. So just let me know. All right, Viet.
I like I said, I make custom toys, I make custom Funko Pops and stuff like that. And I've been super fortunate. Oh, so yeah, I've been working with a lot of indie comic creators, and they just happen to be creators of color. A lot of indie creators and stuff like that. And it's been really cool to work with their Kickstarters and being able to make merchandise for their characters. Right. So it's been really cool to be able to showcase that or make everybody's characters look like legit. And that's been really cool.
Oh, that's awesome. I think I want one now. I just put it in the method. I want one of those.
Just let me know.
I
can do that.
change so many characters. I'm just like, fine one.
Oh yeah. Yeah. There's from cosplayers to just Funko Pops of people. I've been doing that kind of thing, or I've been making action figures of people and everybody's kind of creations. And it's been really cool to see people's indie creations and stuff like that come to life and have. So.
Wow, that's matter. Hey, Mog, are you beating your own trail? Are you taking the bull by the horn in some certain way that you can share?
Yeah, I agree with you. Yet I'm really a huge supporter of indie comics because I think that's where most of the real creativity is now just being pushed to, where you have real creative freedom. So this mid-May, I have several cover works I did for a couple creators. So please help them out. I'll post it on my Facebook and support them. And also I'm now working with a creator, and we're both creating a comic together. So that's super exciting for me.
Oh, nice. That is awesome. And Micah, you have all this power as a filmmaker. And like you could rearrange things, you can influence things. So how are you using that power? Or how are you using your color to tell stories and your heritage? Yeah.
A difficult question for me because for most of my life, I ran away from being South Asian because post 9/11 was not nice to me. And high school was exhausting with how many people would make Ahmed the Dead Terrorist jokes at me or whatever that other puppet thing was, or South Park. I'm only now learning more about myself, if I'm being honest with you. Like this past year, I've really started to mine my experience and figure out more about me and what that means in the South Asian equation, and figure out what I like, who I am, and how my upbringing influenced me. How I use my power, I don't usually think about it. Honestly, if the diversity thing for me, like I am diverse, so my cast and my movies end up being diverse. It's what I grew up looking at. Like my friends were Black, Latino, and Asian growing up. That's what I'm gonna cast. That's the way I see it. And mostly just use that power to get in Twitter fights, honestly. I just think that right now for people, filmmakers of diversity, it is a hard time to be in the industry. I think that there are people that are just looking to use you as props. And I think right now is the best time to just step out of line and figure out your own way to do things and let them catch up. I know it's a really hard thing to say. I know it's really difficult for people to want to step out of line because everyone has an anxiety about stepping out of line and going, oh, I'm going to lose my spot, but make your own line. It's just, there's a Run the Jewels line. I'm a big fan of Run the Jewels, and I can't remember exactly what the line is, but it's no wonder all the lines are next to a cemetery or something like that, and where all the people of color have to stand. And yeah, that's how I feel, man. I just think that if we're waiting in line the whole time, they're going to let whoever they think should be next. And it's always not going to be people from their background. It's going to be people of wealth that are going to get through the door before us. Anyways, I'm a no budget filmmaker. I'm pretty broke, but I make a lot of noise. And my films have made a lot of noise, which is really great. David Benioff, the showrunner of Game of Thrones, watched my short film and loved it. And Ben Stiller tweeted it. And it just, a lot of great things happened just because I'm loud. And I want to be loud, and I want to be loud for everybody. And what I'm doing for Movie Maker magazine right now is that I'm spotlighting people of color and women filmmakers because I want to, because that's what I want to. There's a lot of us out there, and I want them to have a platform to speak finally. It's easy to get your dime a dozen white guy in the room. They're all there. But like my first interview was with Spike Lee, and that people loved it. Yeah. And that literally just happened because I DM'd somebody on Twitter and I got the job because I was just like, hey, watch my short film. Maybe you want to post about it. And then he's like, I do want to watch your short film and I want to post about it. And then we became friends. Yeah. It's no longer time for people of color to be quiet. Like, it's easy to stand on the sidelines, stay in your lane, look forward, and just, you get your turn when you get your turn. And I'm sick of it. I'm so sick of it. Destroy the line. Make your own line. Make it hard for them. Make it hard. Make it as hard as possible for them to ignore you. That's the only way to exist right now as a person of color in the entertainment industry, is my feeling. And yeah.
Okay, well, thank you. I'm still on board with that. Nuri, things that you're doing to break the mold, to keep us progressing forward.
Well, I'm doing a lot. Let's see, where should I start? One thing is, I agree with Micah. You have to be loud. I can't stand going to the convention. I'm like, all this stuff looks alike in here. It's like somebody gave a playbook and I break the rule, but I throw that out. I do. And even Patrick could tell you, when I set up at a con, I'm loud. I'm very loud. My setup is huge. If I'm there, I don't care if it's Baltimore Comic-Con or New York Comic-Con. I'm on the main floor, set up near the Marvel stage. I'm loud because I let them know I'm knocking on your back door. I'm third generation military, Marine Corps. I take it by force. I'm standing looking at that Marvel stage. I'm like, man, this is great. Now, it seems weird, but a few years ago, I want to say it was like 2015, 2016, something like 2015. And I'm on the Marvel stage and I'm meeting Stan Lee for the first time. And I'm looking at him, I'm looking at his handler, and he's signing something for me. He looks up at me, and what I give him to sign is a calendar of the females in my comic book. Okay, and he looks down and he looks up at me. It's pretty women. Yeah. And he goes to sign it, and you know what I'm thinking the whole time? I love you. You've influenced me a lot, but you got the throne, you got the title, and I want it. That's what I'm thinking, stand up there with Stan Lee. So when I do what I do and I get these big booths, I try to take as many indie comic creators as I can with, because some of them can't afford to do those things. So I'll buy out big platforms. I got the big trusts and the Titantrons and the TVs, and I have the table space so that those that don't have the money to do can come onto our booth and do their thing and be in an area where their product can be seen. So that's pretty much what I do. I try to help as many as I can because Micah said, nobody's looking at us until we make noise. But what did Martin Luther King say? Violence is the voice of the oppressed.
I totally agree. I'm adamant.
It's a scary thing too, if anybody's listening. Like, it's a scary thing to decide to be loud, but you got to be heard, and they're not looking at you. I promise you, they're not looking for you until you start making it hard for them to ignore you.
absolutely agree. That is some really good advice. I definitely walk that walk. I try to make sure I'm in places and spaces and on panels and in conversation publicly so I can be seen and other people potentially be inspired to chime in or, as you said, come take my place. It's fine. Just get up there and make sure you're being heard. Space for me, it's space for everybody in my head. So I'm not really a competitive person, but I love it. If I inspire you and you want to sit in that seat at New York Comic Con, because I'm lucky enough to be Bar Fox on a panel, come and take that seat as long as you are trying to elevate and inspire. I don't mind. So, what is your advice, or does anybody have advice for people trying to get into our perspective field, people trying to break the mold? I can argue a little that it's a little easier now because the world is saying, oh, yeah, diversity, we love it, we want it. But what advice would you have for people trying to get into your field and what should they avoid as they come in your opinion? So, anybody want to ask me?
Well, a lot of research. Definitely do research. If you break it into this field, first you got to do what you love. You going into any business venture, you have to love what you do. If you get into it for the money, it's not going to last long because as many doors as open, twice as many closed before you get there. So you got to be patient, strong, and love what you do. Don't sell yourself short. I think every year at San Diego, the thing that I hate to see the most is when I'm upstairs in that area where DC, Marvel are set up, and all these people got these IPs that they created and begging to get into Marvel or DC. You really want to give them your product? Really? You think they're going to do your product justice? They're going to take what they want out of it and throw the rest away. So I don't understand. I've seen so many talented people. You really want to get it? You can do this yourself. You don't have to go give it away to them. So yeah, I think that's the thing I hate to see. And like I say, it goes back to being loud. You have to dare to be different. You have to. People, when you say when you kicking the door in, I think the best example of that, of color barriers being broken, was in the early 80s. MTV wouldn't show people of color. It just wasn't going to happen until they couldn't deny us anymore. Because one guy thrilled us, moonwalked across the stage. Other guy danced across the stage talking about a little red Corvette, and they couldn't deny us any. You can't, because that's what people want. So those men dared to be different. And because they did that, they're legends. Michael Jackson and Prince, in case anybody didn't know. But that's my take on it. You got to take chances. You got to take risks. My daddy used to always say, son, people that don't take risks never go anywhere in life. So you got to take risks. Everything's, even the stock market, it's a gamble. Risk big, win big. So,
well, kudos to all of you, especially to Micah included, that you guys are interviewing people and spotlighting people and where you're putting indie artists in your booth that wouldn't get a chance. That, I think, is very paramount for pushing our voice and making sure we're heard. Because when you get to a certain stage, and you guys can let me know if you agree with me, I feel like we have a responsibility to pull up and uplift. And I don't know if people did that well before. I'm sure some people did, but I just think we need more of it. I want to see more of it. And I love that you all are taking these opportunities to spotlight people and you're showcasing them. I'm actually enamored. I'm excited to sit with you to clear P on your show and stuff. I'm like, this is how you spread the word. And making sure your voice is heard as people of color is what we have to do, and we can't be silent anymore. And I appreciate everything you guys have said, and I hope that everybody that's listening appreciate it. Wanted to also ask you, and I think you touched on it a little, Nuri, based on small strides, diversity and inclusion in entertainment. So what, if anything, would you all like to see implemented or changed going forward to help us continue a positive progression with our diversity and inclusion? Okay, we'll go with Mom. We'll put you on the spot.
I agree with what Micah said. You gotta have a good story first. So just keep on improving your stories. Don't try to, I say, force agendas. Focus more on the craft. Just focus on excellence. Just producing art. That's what it is. It's a skill. As long as you focus on beauty and excellence, people will just generally respond throughout the entire world. Just focus on that. And then I think the rest will follow.
Okay. And now that there are so many ways to get content out, at one point I was like, oh, oversaturated with all this stuff. How do you guys feel the many platforms, the many lanes to get content out is affecting your story being told or diversity? Do you think it's helping, or do you think it is falling short, or people don't know that you exist, or people are not seeing you because you need to be on the mainstream things? Does anybody have any thoughts on that? So, for example, I love all of these new networks that are popping up, right? And they are open to diverse content, but it's not a large following. It's not, they don't have a lot of subs. So do you think that it's hurting or helping? Because they are getting their stories out and somebody else is seeing it, but it's not necessarily making it to the Netflix, the Disney's and all this.
Well, it's just about for it, but at the same time, you don't really need to, right? You don't need to have it. You just need to build your own community, however way you do it, right? So you can build a following that way. And then to answer your question before about like advice, I always just tell people when they're wanting to get into the arts of any kind, is just give yourself room to suck for a little bit. What is it, Jake from Adventure Time? That I use that quote all the time. It's sucking at something is the first step into being okay at something. Right. And so, but yeah, you just give yourself room, like just put your head down and just work on making good content. And eventually someone will find you. And it's the same thing with the social medias, and it's exhausting. I gripe about social media all the time. TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. Then they just started one called Our Artful. And I'm just like, no, man, I'm just so tired. Like, but you just build a community in one of those places and you get a following and you can make a living. You can do all right.
Cool. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff out here. I've run into a lot of content creators or people that's doing what we do, and they feel overwhelmed because you're pulled in so many different directions and you're told to get on this platform or get in this lane. And sometimes it's spreading your artistic bandwidth too thin, in my opinion. But other times it's great to kind of plant these in a variety of places and see what you shake out. I don't know. I don't have a sure shot way. What has worked for me personally is locally, I've been always eccentric and out there. So I don't get a chance to hide in the crowd. I don't get a chance to hide at the office. As soon as I walk in the door, something about me stands out. So I get to walk that path because it's expected of me. It's not always welcome. It's not always rewarded, but I am happy that I never get to hide. If I'm there, I'm already the loud voice. I'm the loud energy in the room. So it's been a plus and a curse, but I enjoy it. That's just who I am. So you guys have been awesome. I know we're wrapping up. I don't want to go too far over. I want to give everybody a chance to give some last words and tell all the viewers where they can find you, and if you have some projects that you're working on that you want to push out there. And we'll start with you, Viet.
I'm at Comedian Viet on all the social medias. And I'm mostly, my main focus right now is I'm on Twitch every Tuesdays and Sunday nights where I work on my commissions and work on custom toys and stuff like that, like on stream, and people can watch and we just hang out. Twitch.tv/Comedian Viet.
Okay, awesome. And Mog?
Mine's simple, Mog Park, Facebook, Instagram. And every Sunday on Facebook, around like evening time, I do a live, just like Viet. I just do a live painting or live drawing session. So just come say hi.
Nice. Okay. So what is some of your favorite stuff to draw? Because I want to see some of your illustrations. It's a skill I don't have, so I'm enamored with it. So forgive me if I'm just like, sorry, but I love that skill set. Cool your pig. You can let people know where to find you.
All right. Thank you again for this wonderful panel. I just want to tell the people out there that are watching, man, believe in yourself, because the biggest thing holding all of us back is ourselves. You are greater than that. Trust and believe, and knowing that you are more than what people are telling you are. Because, like I said, I was bullied, and I had to just know that there was something a greater purpose. So believe in yourself, and then just celebrate it, and then keep it moving. So yeah, and if you ever have any questions and you want to hit me up and all of that, you can follow me at Strange Since 1977, as well as at Temple Far East. One of those is Twitter, one of those is IG. At the Nerds of Color on everything, where we give you pop culture from the POC perspective and repping for that. Also at the NRW and at New Release Wednesday, where nerds rule the world. And at Show Pal Show, where I rep Filipinx culture and what we're doing in various fields of industry. Yeah, that's me. And I love y'all, man. We got to just show love and support each other. And that's how we're going to overcome this adversity and show that diversity is beautiful.
Lee, where can we find you? What can we see you in? What's coming up for you?
You can catch me at LC Shorten on Instagram, Twitter, although I'm mainly on Twitter. And then I got a show on FX at the moment called Cake, the newest season of Cake. I got a narrative podcast, if you like that kind of thing. It's the new thing from the guys who did Limetown called Shipworm. And sometime in the next 12 months, there's a movie coming out on Apple called Swan Song with Mahershala Ali and Naomi Harris and Glenn Close. So I'm pretty psyched for that. So keep an eye out.
Awesome. All right, Micah.
You can mostly find me on Twitter, Micah Khan, and I'm on Instagram as well. And if anybody is looking for any last bit of advice, I would say when you're first starting off in this kind of journey of filmmaking, it's easy to be caught imitating. It's okay if you're imitating for a little bit, but understand why you like those things and you'll start to figure out who you are.
That was really good advice. Thank you. And Nuri?
Well, you can catch me at burningspearcomics.com. That's Burning Spear Comics with an X. You can also catch me through anything going on with the Moana Nui podcast. And definitely come check me out at my YouTube channel, Blunt Force Media. One more thing. I had to go back to this, especially since we're doing this, you celebrating the AAPI Heritage Month. I got to go back to Invincibles. Look here now. Asians are strong in this. Sandra Oh, Korean. She's the mother. Steve Yeun from Walking Dead. He's invincible. Man, check that thing out. I'm telling you, it's a lot to process. I think I'm going to have to watch the whole series again. Because it's a lot to process. I'm ready for season 2 right now. They need to start working.
Yeah, my girlfriend and I almost binged it today. Almost. Then we were like, oh, we have to work.
Whoa. It's so amazing. I'm on your team. That the menagerie that they have in there, the characters, the fact that they are getting it right with diversity and inclusion, and it's so many people in it. And it's not that they are just tokens. They have a place. The writing's good. The implementation is great. So they're not just saying, oh, they need the one Black guy or the one Black girl or the one Asian guy. You're actually, this is great. And I cannot agree with you more. So it's gory though. It's very cool.
Yeah, it's pretty brutal. One of my Marine Corps buddies that I served with, he told me, hey, you need to see it. I said, okay, I'm going to check it out. Yeah, I got to talk to him. We got to have a discussion because this was pretty powerful. I didn't expect this. Normally I can watch stuff and I can pretty much predict, okay, this is what they're going to do. I see where this is going. I see the SJW check boxes being checked. Not with this thing. I mean, it blew me away. I was like, what?
Well, that's good. That means that other people are in the room.
It killed it.
Thinking out the box. That's what I like. All right, cool. Well, thank you again, everyone. Definitely from Nuri, check out Invincible. They should send you a check if you push. Again, everybody, you're awesome. Please do what you're doing. I'm really following you and watching you, and definitely Kuya P and Micah would love to sit down with you guys on your perspective shows and things that you're doing. Thank you, everybody.